Hi, my name's Loula. I'm a composer and live artist based in the east of England. I use sounds, video, electronics and participation to create noisy artworks. I have a particular interest in using synthesized sounds, which I use in two main ways. This is me playing a live gig using a mixture of modular and outboard gear. I'm essentially creating an environment in which to improvise, where I can easily create and mix synthesized electronic sounds, together with recorded audio such as samples, spoken word or field recordings, and then add effects to create a single piece. Part of my practice is running the Atari Punk Girls DIY synth-building and performance workshops. This is a live performance created during an Atari Punk Girls workshop by two participants using two self-built DIY synths, a pocket sampler and 3 1-watt amplifiers. From the first moment of being interested in making electronic music, it was always my ambition to learn to play live. I was really influenced by seeing people play live sets using synths made during the 80s and 90s at free parties during my early raving days. For this reason, I chose not to go down the route of using a screen as a primary interface, which meant learning to use hardware rather than software. At some point, being a curious type, I began to wonder what was going on inside the machines. Whoa, maybe not that interested.
I'm probably about this interested in analog electronics.
This is a function generator. Its circuitry converts electrical current into audible waveforms. Sine, square, and triangle. Using vintage signal testing equipment like this, combined with making recordings onto tape, is how some of the earliest electronic composers started making electronic music. There's no better way to learn something than by teaching someone else. So, using teaching resources from the Yorkshire Sound Women Network, I started running workshops for girls, building simple square wave oscillators to a design affectionately known as an Atari Punk console, aka a stepped tone generator. Here's an Atari Punk console in action. An APC is made of 2 timer circuits flipping on and off. One creates the pulse you can hear, its frequency determines the pitch, and the other is used to affect the width of the pulse, which changes its timbre. Players control these using the 2 potentiometers. As I went along, I found I wanted the workshops to focus as much on the performance side as on the electronic side. So with the help of a circuit design I found on Hackaday and a couple of days in the company of audio electronics artist Dr. Tom Richards, I came up with a new design. This is a hex box. Like the APC, this DIY synth uses logic gates, flipping between on and off states to create the square wave at its heart. However, it's far more playable than the Atari Punk console because it has the option of controlling the 2 oscillators using light, like this. Its integrated circuit chip, called a hex inverter, means its pitch has smoother steps between ranges, and the timbre created by the second oscillator here is way more gnarly and tearing in my humble opinion. The design process of this led me to a better understanding that my initial choice of instruments back when I was starting out had led me down a really specific path of decision making towards a very specific type of electronic sound. What if all you had was a way to record and play back audio, an amp and a handful of oscillators? To find out, I started researching the history of experimental electronic composition and listening practices. I took on board minimalist composer Pauline Oliveros' words, "Take a walk at night. Walk so silently that the bottoms of your feet become ears." I heard about Anea Lockwood making sound maps of rivers and reverberating frequencies through sheets of glass. I learned about Marianne Amaché's work with drone, distortion and psychoacoustics. And consequently, my work is now as much about doing fun things with sonics like this, as it is about this.